Hey,
It's the 5th of March, Rabbi Levitt Daniel.
okay. And Mayor is going to finish the next. We're up to we're doing the last note over here in verse uh 11, right?
Right. Chapter 8, verse 11. And it says, we're on page 90 now, Lou.
Thank you.
Uh, the right-hand column. Rashi interprets this verse, like the previous one, as referring to the destruction of the Second Temple. The prince of the Legion of God himself, who was defied when his sanctuary was destroyed. During the siege of Jerusalem, the daily offering was removed. That's in Yerushalmi Tanis.
Ah, right. There was a siege, I believe. I mean, yeah, there was a siege of Jerusalem. So that means that the Yavanim Antiochus, they made it impossible for Klal Yisrael to get provisions into Yerushalayim, and one of the important provisions that they needed to get was animals that were royal mizbeach. They were fitting to be brought on the mizbeach, particularly for the avodas hatamid, the service of the korban tamid, shel shachris and shel bein abayim. So that was the without the korban tamid, there was nicht gut.
Mm.
Okay.
Is that the
Yeah.
time they sent the pig up?
Yeah. I think that was over here, unless that was in the second temple. I'm not sure.
All right, should I read the preface to verse 12?
Yeah.
In this verse, Abarbanel and Malbim, who interpreted the previous verses as referring to Antiochus, join the view of Rashi and Ramban and interpret this verse as referring to the destruction of the Second Temple. V'tzava tina sein al hatamid b'fasha v'sashlech emes artza v'asa v'hitz licha. At a time, a set time will be allotted for the discontinuation of the daily offering because of sin. It will throw truth to the ground and it will achieve and prosper. A set time, the daily offering is destined to be taken away for a specific span of time. Rashi. A set time. Man has an allotted time. Abarbanel renders the word more conventionally as an enemy army. Tzava.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out where did they get any reference of time from the word sava.
Right. It says, as in Eov 7:1, Halo Tzava La'anosh. Man has an allotted time, according to Rashi and Radak in Shurashim and Reb Shmuel Maznuth. Okay.
לא צבא לאנוש. Okay.
Because of it, the daily offering was removed. Hudam is used many times in the sense of removing and throwing down. See Radak in Shurashim. As in Vihareim Tabra, and remove the crown, Ezekiel. Antiochus stopped the daily offering for 3 years until it was reinstituted by the Hashmonayims. Okay, so that's Hanukkah. Malbim translates Huram, it was exalted, from Ram, high. The prince of the legion of Mattathias, the Hashmonean, and his sons succeeded him in the leadership of the revolt, who again elevated the daily offering to its proper position. And the foundation of his sanctuary was thrown down. Machon means foundation, Metsudos. The foundation and purpose of the temple is the presence of the Shekhinah. Antiochus transformed the holy temple into a temple of idolatry. Thus, the temple was thrown down in a spiritual sense. Mayene HaYeshua.
This is your reading from the previous pasuk.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I see. I see how the columns work. Okay.
That's a bit confusing.
Absolutely. Okay, will be allotted for the daily offering. The translation follows Rashi's interpretation. According to Abarbanel's view, Tanasein al should be translated will be set upon, i.e., the armies of the enemy will attack the institution of the daily offering. Malbim interprets tzava as in the previous verses, the host of the heaven, the Jewish nation, who will be given over nasein to the enemy, al ha-tamid, together with the daily sacrifice. Because of sin, the sins of the Jews caused the downfall of the temple, Rashi. It will throw truth to the ground. True faith and Torah will be denigrated, Rashi. And it will achieve the he-goat accomplished whatever it wanted to do, Mitsudos. Ralbag and Ibn Ezra interpret this verse like the ones preceding it to refer to Antiochus. Reb Sadia understands verse 9 to 12 to refer to the Arab Empire, i.e., to its treatment of its Jewish population and to the wars it waged with Rome, Christian Europe. So that's a much later time, and he's seeing the prophecy is referring to hundreds of years later.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah, totally different interpretations can be made of these psukim. Okay. Yeah. Barbanel. Yeah, so according to Barbanel, who we said in the preface, is now saying that these psukim are referring to the Churban Bayis Sheni, not Bayis Rishon. We're talking already in Bayis Sheni.
Huh.
So according to that, this that Barbanel said that Tinasin Al is referring to be set upon the armies of the enemy will attack the institution of the daily offering. You see, according to Barbanel, there was an attack on the Korban Tamid, on the Tamid offering, also by the Romans. So that was like we said before. That seemed to be a primary place that they would want to attack the Jewish people. Very interesting. I mean, what did they? It's a spiritual service. Why do they have to? What are they so interested in stopping it?
Why do they even know?
Why do they even know that there is such a thing? Yeah. So it's the Lechora. What you see is that the wars were not simply physical conquests of land and land hungry and purposes of looting. That could be that was their ultimate goal, but it seems that they realized that the way in order to destroy Klal Yisrael is destroy their service of Hashem.
Right.
Okay. Verse 13.
Okay, Yud Gimel. Let's see.
Here.
Okay. Ve'eshma'a echad kadosh medaber. Vayomer echad kadosh lepalmoni hamidaber ad matai hechazon hatamid v'hapesha shomeim tet v'kodesh v'tzava mirmas. Okay. So I heard the Holy One speaking, and the Holy One said to the anonymous one who was speaking, until when this vision concerning the daily offering and the mute abomination, allowing the trampling of the Holy One and the host? Guess that was
It's very confusing. It says the Holy One was speaking, and then it says the anonymous one was speaking.
I heard a holy one speaking, and the Holy One said to the anonymous one who was speaking.
Well, maybe they're going to have a conversation.
Hello? Just a second.
Okay.
Ken, Seder, אנחנו בבית. נווה יעקב. כן. 40 דקות, אוקיי, תודה רבה. It's okay, sorry about that.
Okay. Maybe it's a conversation they're going to have. So, well, let's see.
Yeah, let's see how maybe they'll be clear from the translation, from the commentary.
Yeah, Kadosh. I heard the Holy One, literally the Holy One. Okay. I heard one of the angels, according to Rashi. This refers to verses 11 through 13. Verses 1 through 10 describe the vision Daniel saw, while the verses 11 to 13 are the words of the angel to Daniel, according to the Malbim. Oh. So Daniel was hearing the angel. Okay. Vayomer Echad Kadosh, and the Holy One said, Gabriel was the angel who revealed himself to Daniel in the form of a man, in verses 15 to 16, and explained parts of the vision to Daniel. It was his voice that Daniel now heard addressing this question, obviously meant for Daniel's ears, to the anonymous angel. Okay. Palmoni is a combination form of Piloni Malmoni, found in Ruth, which is translated by the Targum Yonasam, Kisi Vitamir, covered and hidden. The angel who was asked the question remains anonymous, according to Rashi. Barbanel explains that the Holy One who asked revealed himself later to Daniel in the form of a man and is identified as Gabriel. The angel to whom the question was addressed is Michael, Gabriel's superior in the heavenly hierarchy. See verse. That's coming up. Okay. So in chapter 10, verse 13, where Michael is titled that one of the foremost heavenly princes, the privilege of having Michael revealed to him. He was only able to hear his voice. Hence, Michael remained the anonymous angel. Oh, that's why. Okay. Barbanel cites the Midrash Tanchuma, where Rav Yochanan is quoted as identifying Harmoni, anonymous one, as Michael. It's getting confusing. Okay. Oh, long way to go. Hamidaber, who was speaking? The anonymous one was the angel who had been speaking till now. According to the Abarbanel, this would be Michael. According to Ibn Ezra, this was Gabriel. Miserable situation described in the vision concerning the daily offering last. The Hapesha Shomain, and the mute abomination. An idol which is mute as a rock will replace the daily offering in the temple. Oh, wow. Okay. These are brackets. Okay. In chapter 12, verse 11, there is essentially identical phrase, except the word shikutz is substituted for pesha. Both have the same meaning, abomination. Oh, yeah. Okay. Through shikutz connotes an idol. Wow. The reference there is to the idolatrous temple erected by Hadrian on the site of the Holy Temple. The change in the language may be ascribed to the fact that Hadrian's temple was later supplanted by the Muslim mosque that is presently on the temple site. Although a mosque cannot be called shikutz, an idol, because Islam is a monotheistic religion, nevertheless, the more inclusive pesha, which embraces all kinds of sin and abomination, would also include the Muslim occupation of the temple site, since it is sacrilege for a sacred temple mount to be used for alien worship. According to Shikutz and Pesha, indicate two separate periods. The former, our verse, indicates the occupation of the temple site up to our time, whereas Shikutz specifically would refer to Hadrian's temple. Wow. in Yiddish, I, I remember my grandparents when they said, I think, I don't know if it's the same root. A shagets is a non-Jew, and it looks like
Yeah.
shagutz is also relating to that too.
Shikuts and Shvig. Right.
But anyway, going on, it says, Tate v'kadesh v'tzava, allowing the trampling of the Holy One and the host. The translation treats the Vav of Vikadosh as superfluous, thus allowing the Holy One and the host to be trampled. The Holy One refers to the temple. According to most of the commentators, the question is about the time before the Geula HaShlema, the ultimate complete redemption. Ibn Ezra, as a consequence of his interpretation of the previous verses, interprets the question of the angel to be about the length of the oppression under Antiochus. However, he is alone in this view. Ralbag and Ibn Yahya agree with the other commentators that the angel wished to know the length of the long and bitter exile, not of the transitory oppression under Antiochus. And Vitzava and the host of heaven, as in verse 10, the Jewish nation, according to Rashi. Okay, and that's the end of 13, it looks like.
That's the end of 13. Wow. I think we've come out with a clear understanding of the puzzle. Oh,
well, it seems like there's a maklochet in the
there's a lot.
explanation.
They can't hide that. There's a lot of okay. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Vayomer Elai, Ad Erev, Boker, Al Hayim, Ushalosh, Meos, Venitz Dak Kodesh. And he said to me, morning 2,300 and rectified. Until nightfall, morning, until that night, about which it is written in Zechariah, but it will happen toward evening time that there will be light. Rashi, in the name of Reb Sadia Gaon, i.e., until the final redemption. Rashi continues to say that Erev Boker here is meant as a gematria, i.e., the main intent of these words is not for their literal meaning, but for their numerical value, which is 574. This total will be added to that given later in the verse. Rashi explains that two things support this argument. One, this calculation equals the number of years given at the end of this book, 1211. From the time the daily offering was removed, 1,290 years. See Amunos, Videos, where, according to Reb Sadia's interpretation, the two figures do not coincide. Two, if the calculation were not put cryptically, why did the angel nightfall and the morning is true? 2,300. To these 2,300 years, add 574 numerical value of Erev Vokir, a total of 2,874. These years begin from the first exile in Egypt. if we try to synchronize this with the end given in 1211, it counts 1,290 years from the time of the daily offering being removed. We find them both ending at the same time. See the chart on the facing page for the breakdown. And then the Holy One will be rectified. This is the response to the question in verse 13, for how long permitting the trampling of the holy? Then Juri's sin will have been them tzaddikim, righteous, and creed for them, kodesh impurity.
Hmm. Wow. That was 14.
Okay. Now we got this chart on the other page.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Oh. Oh yeah, they say that even though the second temple was 420 years, but they list over here 414 because we're talking about the time that the second temple had the Korban Tamid. That was only 414 years.
Hmm.
That was 6 years before the Churban.
Oh.
Hmm. So that is a total of 2874. And it starts from the time that Klal Yisrael went down to Mitzrayim. And 1290 from the removal of the daily offering until the end. So we're holding further than that now, because there have been many more than 1,290 years since the removal of the daily offering in the Second Temple. Okay, we'll see further tomorrow, Bezrat Hashem.
Thank you, Rabbi.
All the best,
Yeah.
everybody.